Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite Creator. And I continue to pray, even though I haven't been on in a while, I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. Now, with that said, I greet you all, and I hope that this finds you, all of the wonderful subscribers, and anyone else who may be browsing around, that I hope that your situation is as good as possible under the circumstances of our current situation of the world, of the, stuff going on, right? And it really and truly is a shame to see somehow, some of how some of these people are acting, reacting. And I gotta say, it seems like some of them are being downright a nuisance. Now, we can all be a nuisance once in a while if we try hard enough, but here's the thing about this. With all of the different things, hey, David Castle, how are you, my brother? And Maverick, how are you? Ryan, good to see you all. Oh, my goodness, 6 folks. Hey, everybody. Um, and I got to admit that the reason I'm doing this particular video is because I myself have gone through a recent bout of, I'm going to call it depression because I'm not quite sure what else it is. And some other friends of mine and folks close in and around, and we have been getting hit with some really odd, um, cosmic energy. And I'm sure that that's had a lot to do with it. But a recent circumstance with Miss Deb getting leukemia, and the last update on her is through the grapevine is that she's back in the hospital and is going to try bone marrow transplant. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for Miss Deb, and continue to pray that that whatever the outcome, it'll work out. But I realized that because of the situation of her getting sick and issues around here, I got my own problems, with my head issues and not being able to stay awake when I want to, which has a tendency, when you're asleep for 2 or 3 days, for regardless of the reason, I have a tendency to look around and go, holy crap, what's going on here? What has just transpired in my own life? Did I feed the dog, which is right over here in a happy mode? Did I feed the cats and the chicken? I mean, funny little story. Went out to feed the chicken the other day, and I have 2 different entrances into the chicken pen, one to the back side and one to the front side, and around blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I went into the back, opened up the little door, which is literally only about this wide. You have to step sideways to go through. There is about a 6.5-foot long oak snake. I mean, I'd opened the door, like, yo, and then I realized who it was and what it was. And the chicken was standing like almost on it. And so the snake comes in to eat the eggs, and everybody's hungry, So it's like, okay, the snake got another egg. Well, yesterday, and working around the house out front and trying to clean the golly, the rain. I love the rain, thank you very much, but holy crap, the woods is coming up into my backyard and trying to swallow my house again. But anyway, I run across one of the littler oak snakes, which like scared the pee out of me twice, only because I was like, oh, there you are. Okay, And then I watched him and saw where he was, and then he disappeared. And then a few minutes later, I damn near stepped on him going across the yard. Now, to some folks, kill it, kill it, kill it. I can't do that. And to the snakes, the snakes usually go, who the hell is that? And run. But they're so used to my presence around the house and around here. And that 6.5, I'm not joking. It's a big oak snake. Looks like a python, But some people say, well, snakes, you must have the devil around you and it must be evil. There are a lot of critters around here. There are hawks. I have found a hawk feather in the backyard the other day. Ooh, well, hawk is my totem, one of my totems. But there was a fox out in the yard. Ooh, okay, there was a fox. And then, well, snakes. Ooh. So I consider, there are frogs, literally, that hop through my house and eat the bugs around. I don't mess with them. I try not to step them in the night when bare feet or not, but they feel really weird when you step barefoot on a poor little old toad frog just trying to make a living by eating up bugs. But so in my realm, in my universe, all these animals are around. They're a hummingbird came to the window. David, not yes, maybe it was yesterday or the day before. Anyway, come up pecking at the window like feed me, feed me. And I was like, I got a hummingbird feeder. And but I haven't put anything in it. And I'm like, okay, now shame on me. Now I have put up 2 other bird feeders, and I've been feeding the other birds this year. And there are a lot more songbirds around this year than there have been in several years past. I've complained about it in the past, but this year we seem to have a lot of songbirds, at least in this area. Okay, for whatever reason, and I'm glad, and I'm trying to help them be here, so I'm feeding them. Costing me more to feed the animals and the critters than it does me. But anyway, what does this have to do with depression and the fact that we're addicted to it? Well, I spent many years addicted to being depressed. And I had to be honest with myself and go, wait a minute now. Are you depressed for a reason? Well, this happened to me, and that happened to me, and this happened to me, and blah, blah, blah. It's all these things that happened to me. Well, shame on society and woe is me. Well, and I've talked about the priest thing and all the things that's happened and being busted and all this. Okay. So, but it's my reaction to it. It's how I react and how I choose to look at tomorrow. And I got to say, for the last month or so, things have been a little squirrely around here. Emotionally, spiritually, and I've just literally been kind of lost. Usually I got all these things and I'm planning and wanting to do and this and that and the other thing, and everything just went blank. Now I can blame it on a situation and so forth, which had a lot to do with it. But in that time, I haven't been depressed in a long time. Then I find myself going back through things. And I was like, whoa, somehow I've gotten into a depression and I don't know how I got here. Coffee. Oh, hi, Bob. I'm going to stop and say hi to everybody. Miss Spitfire, I think you're in there. Lady Spitfire, David, blessings. Truth in me. Hi, how are you? Good to see you all. I'm glad that you're all at least here. Regardless of your situation, you're still around. That's a thumbs up and cheers, everybody. But, and thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. We haven't been around for a while to share coffee and everything. But thank you, Bob, for allowing us to be here. And thank you, YouTube, and all the spirits that allow me to come on here and yak at y'all. That too. But audience participation. But anyway, in this endeavor, though, hello, Jody. Blessings to you, my friend. I realized that because of the situation of cancer, leukemia, and all that, the fact that I had premonitions of something really bad going on, which turned out to be true. So be careful if you want to know what the future is, because sometimes you don't know what the signs are and how you're going to react to it when it happens to you. You know what I'm saying? So you never know until you get in the situation. Hey, Chloe, blessings. I think I missed you earlier and saying hi. Truth of me, may I have your phone number, please? Email me at something. My phone number is in the phone book. Get a piece of paper, write this down. So I don't try to hide my phone number. Although, the issue is sometimes, I don't know who's calling. So I'll look down. I get a lot of crap phone calls. So if nothing else, leave a message because there's a recording. I don't have a recorder here in the house. It's at a remote location with my telephone service, but leave a message. It's like leave your name and number and about what time you called and who you are, and I'll call you back as soon as I can. Okay. So, but anyway, write this down. It's 229. Not wait. I got a better idea. It's in the phone book. I don't have a cell phone. I found my cell phone. It hadn't been hooked up in 4 years, but here, let me just do this number: 941-517. There. That's my home phone. Ding ding. Okay, so call me, leave a message, and unless you show up on the ID thing, I only know you by your. Hey Maverick, did I say hi to you? If I missed anybody, sorry, but hi everybody. So I haven't been to the river in a month, and the river's up right now too with all this rain. But so what about this? Are we addicted to depression? Well, let's stop and think about this. With all the things that go on a regular basis, if something gets in our way and slows us down, what's the first thing we have a tendency to do? Oh my God, the something is against me, or something's going on, or whatever the situation is. And things will throw up a brick wall. And sometimes those brick walls aren't very tall, and you can kind of climb over them or jump over them or maybe just step over them. But at other times, they're so damn tall, you're going to have to go get a ladder. But here's the thing. Depression has a tendency to look like a wall you can't get over or through or around. You seem stuck. How am I going to get out of this? And so the thoughts keep going around and around and around and around. Well, I'm feeling depressed. I don't know what I'm going to do. How am I going to get out of this? What is my next situation? What do I have to look forward to? Tomorrow. That is what we need to look forward to. Tomorrow. Plain and simple. Don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And every time I try to project what tomorrow's going to bring, I'm usually disappointed. So rather than try to put stock in too much of what tomorrow is, it's better that I just say, well, here's tomorrow. I'm here today, and I'm going to do the best that I can under the circumstances, which all I can do, which is all any of us can do. But I found myself going back over all of the people who had been sick before, all of the people that I had lost before, all of the people that I have, had to travel and do and everything. And it all washed back over me and gave me the same sense of feeling, the sense of hopelessness. And that'll put you in a depression because you don't know what to do. So instead of doing anything, I chose to do nothing, which, by the way, doing nothing is something because you've made a choice. You've made a choice to either participate or to not participate. You can either be the problem, be a part of the problem, or at least say, you know what? I see the problem. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix it. Don't know if I can fix it. That's not the issue. The issue is I see it and I want to change it. That's the key. That's the first step out. Now, the situation may not change. You may still be poor. You may still, your car's broke down. I had 3 or 4 days of trying to get my truck started, and I felt slightly isolated, more so than usual, because I just couldn't go out and get in the truck and go to the store. Now, I did have a friend of mine call and say that she would take me to the store, but I was like, nah, I got this. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Good to see you and blessings to you. So, but the depression will kick in. And I found myself, this was a short time, this time through, but went back to my previous many years of depression and realized that I was addicted to it. Well, how are you doing today? Well, do you really want to know? You want me to tell you the truth or do you want me to lie? Well, I'm feeling depressed today and my back hurts and my this hurt and I don't know if I'm going to make it. And that was me, got to go back to the doctor, got to go do this. I don't know. I've had tests done and on for me. So I went through years and years and years and years of being scared and afraid. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Blah, 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 there must be something. I'm sick, whatever the issue. And I found out that I was just repeating the same thing. And and why in this I say it takes truth in the heart of the heart. Because you gotta be honest. And that's where the hard part comes in. You got to be honest and go, listen here now. Are you being truthful to yourself, Dave? Dave, let's talk to Hawkeye and get his opinion. Well, what do you mean, Dave? Well, but Hawkeye, he's sitting over here going, you damn fool. What are you rehashing this stuff for? Why do you keep going over and over? And why are you allowing this to suck your energy out? Why? And so, you've heard me say this before, those of you who've been around long enough, or or too long, maybe some of you. I love you all, I do. And I do. Yesterday I was out working in the yard and I was in the rain, which was nice. And I was just going through my list of folks that I could remember, and I was like, all y'all in this chat. Hello, Teresa. How are you? I think I missed you earlier. Struggled with depression too? Yes. I'm assuming that all of us have struggled with it at some point. But this is a whole new situation that we find ourselves in now. Hi, Teresa. Oh, you just got here. Well, blessings. I haven't been here long, but with the current situation with, oh my God, I grew up in the 60s, and I was around folks in the race riots and stuff. And, there are a lot of folks that some of these folks that are screaming and hollering back in the day, especially down here in the South. I traveled with a carnival that's no longer around, but would leave Tampa and come up here and spend the summer in South Georgia, South Georgia, Alabama, and North Florida. It was called Southland Amusements. And we'd go as far north as Montgomery, Alabama, and around Macon and places like that. And we'd go as far south as, Stuart, Florida, and down there. So we traveled Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. I still know the states pretty well. It's been a while since I've been down in Florida. But anyway, to the point, though, I'd leave Tampa and went to school with, black folk in my school and all, Most Holy Redeemer. Well, we didn't have any black folk in Most Holy Redeemer, but hey, keeping it real, how are you? But at Tampa Catholic, it was, integrated and all that. And nobody thought anything about, black folk, white folk, whatever. My grandma owned a store and it was right in the, right on the edge of the quarters. And, I had black friends all the time. It just didn't matter to me. But back in the 60s, they would have a Negro and a white a water fountain. And I was, told, don't drink out of that one. And I was like, why? It's right here. The water's even cold. Well, but you don't drink it. It was a J.C. Fields, okay? Or J.M. Fields. J.M. Fields, anyway. And I remember clearly, it's not there anymore, but going to the store and going through the thing and going and drinking out of this water fountain, right? And this man come up to me and grabbed me by the shoulder and said, "You can't drink out of there." And I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, that's for the niggers." And I didn't know who a nigger was, okay? Because it wasn't spoken like that around us in our section of the family or whatever, There were Negroes and the blacks, but, it wasn't, I don't remember anybody saying, at least in my household, around the niggers. I never said that word. But this white man tells me you can't drink out of this because it's only for the niggers. And I thought, if it's good enough for them, it should be good enough for me. And I have always questioned this, right? And so I drank out of the water fountain anyway. What difference does it? And now it doesn't. It's so, the get to the back of the bus routine, or not being served in a restaurant, or not being able to sit at the counter. I remember those things. I was here in the South traveling with carnivals and stuff, seeing the race and the differences and stuff. And it ain't the same then as it is now. But these people are trying to make it out that it is the same. Oh, we want equality. Listen, black folk can get more than me. This old white boy can. Let me tell you. Just saying. I'm going to leave it right there. But with all this turmoil, so people are agitated with this stuff. I mean, I was trying to, make a comment about something that was like, well, you must be a racist. And I'm like, wait a minute. I got black folk in my family, or at least, mulatto and whatever. Keep your mouth to yourself. I'm saying that anybody, including myself, I've been to jail several times. And why am I, I'm a convicted felon. I can vote, but I can't own a single shotgun for protection down here in the woods. They've taken my rights away because I had drugs, not because I tried to kill somebody or embezzle or anything. No, possession of drugs with intent to distribute, mind you, on one case. But so because I had broke the law, which says now I'm a felon, and I can't own any kind of firearm, but I can in the state of Florida. In the state of Georgia, I can vote now because I haven't committed any other kind of crimes or anything like that. But to the point, though, they took my rights away because I had drugs. Now, why don't some of these states want to come clean with this? Because they haven't figured out how they're going to get rid of all the prison population. And why would they want them to go back? They would have to, in a way, rescind the fact that, well, we busted you for pot way back when. Guys can wipe that felony away. It's just a piece of paper. The governor can issue anyone who was busted with any kind of marijuana, which is what I was busted with, is, no more felony. They can do that. They don't want to. Then anyway, so what's it got to do with depression, and what's that got to do with this? Because I've had a lot of reasons to be depressed over the years. But it wasn't until I figured out that I had to look at myself in the mirror and go, you got you in trouble. You're the one that got caught. You're the one. Now, the helicopter thing in my backyard, not so much. But the other trouble that I had been in when I was in Tampa, one of the reasons I left Tampa was because the cops had my number. So when I was talking to my sister, she was like, oh, they're always stopping my son and blah, blah. Listen, hang on here. If you've been stopped once or twice in a neighborhood, they got your number. And if they've caught you doing something wrong, they're going to check you. Watch the shows. And it ain't got nothing to do with just the black folks. Us poor white folk got pulled over and stopped too. I can attest to that. Was I treated differently? I've been beat up by the cops. I've been slung against the bars. I've had to spread my cheeks too many times for them to check for, contraband or whatever. Holy mackerel. But now, how do we get out of this? You must look at your heart. You must look inside and go, maybe I'm part of the reason for this. Well, what do you mean, Dave? Hawkeye, help me out over here. As a shaman, there is cause and effect for everything. So if we are causing something, and inactivity is a cause, So these last couple of weeks, I've just been like shut down. So the depression could sneak in, slip in, put weird thoughts in my head, blah, 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 blah. Not where I want to go, right? Not what I want to do. I want to try to, I'm getting old. How many more days do I have, you know? But rather than focus on that, I want to go back to being productive again, even if it's just a tiny little bit every day, which is where I had to look at myself in the dadgum mirror and go, Hawkeye, you slipped into this again, haven't you? And myself said, you damn right. Dave did it. Dave did it, which is true. Because Hawkeye is that side of my personality that he's the camp counselor, in this tribe of one of all these different personalities that I possess. Many of us do. But there's got to be the camp counselor, as I've talked about kind of way back, but still. So within all these crazy voices running around inside my head, I must listen. I have agreed to, through my own truth of heart, to listen to the camp counselor. And the camp counselor was like, listen, you can't go back through this again. You lived your whole life in depression. You lived your whole life, and allowing things and this and that. And haven't we learned anything by now? Haven't we, so the Dave side of me is going, well, I don't know. I'm all confused. And then there's the Hawkeye that's got his arms folded going, you pathetic SOB. Here you go again. But because Hawkeye is that other side of me, grabbed me by the shoulder and said, now you stand here in front of this mirror and you talk to yourself and you figure it out. And I was like, oh crap. Oh, it's one of them truth in the mirror kind of deals, huh? Yeah. Now the simple truth is that I was allowing all this past to flood forward and take over my present. And that we can't have that. We can't have that. Whatever tomorrow is got to be better than today, even if it's just that much. We must look at and go, okay. Now, so where do we go from here? So you have to look at yourself and you have to go, wait a minute, am I part of this problem? There's somebody I ain't said hi to. Well, hello, Deborah. Yes, you still have a key. Pyramid 7. How are you? Tooth and me, Teresa. Okay, I think I got everybody. But as far as the depression part of this goes, I didn't want to move anywhere. I just didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to just look out the window. I'll go out and sit in a chair and I'll just let the world go by. What difference does it make, right? Well, now my situation is different from everybody else's, but to the point though, you have to look at what you're allowing to happen to you. And if you can't be truthful about it, you're still going to repeat the same thing over. That's where the craziness comes in, right? So that, crazy is repeating the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. Can't happen. So what we do need to do, though, is we need to say, wait a minute, maybe I'm allowing this to happen. Maybe I'm allowing, maybe. So it's not that you look in the mirror and blame yourself for it, but you have to be honest and go, maybe I am allowing this to happen. So every time I have this feeling, I regurgitate it and I let it go around in my head some more and I let it consume me some more. That's where it comes in. So that's where you have control of the situation. And I had lost control, as many of us do. And so with these new times, new situations, I want to go into town, but they close early and they do this and these folks over here and that's that and this. Okay, fine. So, but the honest thing is am I allowing other things to come regurgitate through me, through me, through me, through me. And when I realized that I put a stop to it and said, we done been through this mess before. We're going to nip this one in the bud. Why? Because we have to. We nip it in the bud because it's important. It's okay to be depressed for little tiny periods. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to not feel well today. But for us to carry it on and push it forward with us is absolutely wrong in the universe. So you have to be true in your heart. You have to look at your heart and go, wait a minute, what do I really mean by this? What is my modus operandi? I just want to have a better tomorrow, even if it's just a tad. So, but if I just sit in a chair, metaphorically speaking, but still, if I just sit in a chair and look out the window, then the world goes on, but I don't. But I'm still participating, but simply as an observer. I'm not participating in any way other than to grumble and to bitch and to complain. Oh, this crazy world, and oh, these crazy times, and oh, bad bitch, 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 bitch. No, 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 no. Hang on. So many of us, because of what's going on, are going into different types of loops. And some of my friends, God bless them, we've been around for a while. We remember what it was like in the 60s and early 70s. It's a lot different than it is now. But these people nowadays, especially the younger folks who don't have a clue what went on back then, other than watching a couple of news clippings, didn't participate back then. And so all they have is what history teaches. And many of us know that history don't really tell it all. So the things that are happening now are affecting these folks. Many of the folks my age are like, what are these youngsters up to? They think they got it bad. Man, they used to have blacks only and only in the back door and separate water fountains and get to the back of the bus. These folks can go anywhere they want to, and they're still bitching that they're being oppressed. Now, I've stated my point about this with the cops. I'm an old white guy. They beat me up and did the same thing to me. So it has nothing to do with race. It does have everything to do with the violence of the police and their modus operandi and what their thinking is. This gung-ho mentality. Every single one of us is a suspect, period. That's it. We are a suspect. And it's not going to change anytime soon. It's just going to piss the police off because more people are bitching about it. But if you're engaged in an illegal activity and you get caught and you get pissed off about it, shame on you. Now, when I was arrested, I was like, okay, you got me. You got me. Okay, you got me. And then they still wanted to throw me up against the car. And I was like, dude, man, I said, you got me. But the gung-ho guys, they were going to throw you up against the car just because they think it's pretty. Well, you broke the law. Boom. So you broke the law, even if it was a parking ticket, does not give them the right to throw any of us up against anything. They should treat us with respect. But because we broke the law, then we have lost their respect in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? And it's their job to uphold the law. So therefore, you're a criminal, you son of you. Okay. Let's just leave it at that. But respect goes both ways. I always be respectful, but there are those folks who just aren't very respectful back because I'm the criminal or we're the criminals. We were pulled over for a reason, whether there was a good reason or not the point. Anyway, to the depression and to the obsession. I think some of us become obsessed with it because we have no other way to well, somebody called. I can't read it. Anyway. It's too easy just to repeat. It's too easy to wallow in our own slop. It's too easy just to give up. It's harder for us to say, hang on a minute, um, maybe I can change that. Maybe if I looked at my situation with a slightly different point of view, maybe. Otherwise, never mind, right? So the truth in the heart is that, am I doing everything possible to not be depressed? Now, it may not be that you can change your situation. I mean, I still get the same every month. I still, my truck needs a lot of repair. I'm getting older every day and the heat's bothering me. But if I allow all that to jumble on me, then I'm not going to get out of bed tomorrow. I'm just going to say, screw it. I'm too old for this. But my answer is nah, no. I'm not going to I've spent too much of my life, as many of us have, in being in some type of depressed or, uh, not our own depression, but we feel depressed from out and around and from the universe. We feel oppressed maybe, or depressed, but to the point. So with society going crazy right now, there are many of us that are going, now, what am I going to do now? Oh, there's another round of stuff coming. Oh, there's this, and well, there's that. Well, you can take control and make sure that your own feelings are in check. When I see some of these idiots want to talk about the race thing and all that, I want to scream and go, you bunch of ninnies. It's not like that like it used to be. They used to hang people around here not too long ago. Lynchings. Somebody just disappeared. They used to have cross burnings. There are still that kind of faction, older than me, still alive in this area. And there are some of those that are about my age-ish, in their 50s, 60s, that were grown up around that so that they still have that in their heart. I'm telling you. But would they actually take someone out and string them up? Nah. Would they do something to like get them in trouble or turn them into the police or harass them? Yeah. But, the killings pretty much died down around here. As far as, the whites wanting to go lynch the blacks is my point of view, is my point in this. But I still remember it, and there are people around here that still remember it. But at the same time, it's not about what was then. It's what's going on right this minute. How am I going to react to it? So, all this stuff about racism, I've stated my position. But rather than, there are people who want to just keep on and on and on and on and on about it. You're crazy, and you're a son of a bitch, and you're a bastard, and you're a this, and you're a racist. Now I'm a racist. Wait a minute. I walked in demonstrations and protests as an old hippie. And now I'm somehow, because I have said, wait a minute, stop this nonsense, I'm now a racist. Okay. All right. It's okay. Because that's their opinion of the situation. The situation is that folks are going nuts over this. And depression, the emotions, and all of this are running nuts. And nobody's got a hold on it. And none of us know what tomorrow's going to bring in that respect. Because there are people going crazy over here. There's this and that and all up and down. And it's like, you know what, folks? We can control ourselves and our little area. Me and the dog, me and the cats, me and the chicken, me and the big snake, and the little snake that was out in the front yard too. But I try to get along, try to get along. I could have killed both of the snakes, but what good would that have done? And I know that one snake's been living around here for years. In fact, I've seen him in the house, or it might be a her. But anyway, the fact that they're around and the animals can be comfortable in this area. Thank you. To the universe, thank you. I'm blessed with that. Thank you. and that all I can do is every day is just try to be as positive as I can without trying to send more negative out to the universe. Don't you know there's enough crap out there? We don't need to add to it. So my reaction to some of this stuff about what's going on with this and that and blah blah blah, and some of the politics, and Trump did that and blah 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 did that, and holy mackerel in a, you know. Well, listen here now. I'm just going to say tomorrow's going to be a better day. Tomorrow I'm going to look at the situation. If my truck won't start, then I'll hook up the battery charger. If I got a flat tire, I'll change it. If something's wrong, I'll just fix it. Whatever it is, I'll work on it tomorrow. But I'm not going to sit up all night and worry whether or not my battery's going to be dead in the morning. Not going to do it. It was fine earlier, but my point, I know this is a small little tidbit of something, but small things can worry us to the point where everything else starts crashing in. So if you've got these issues, look yourself in the mirror, sit down with a piece of paper and write down, this thing right here, and blah, 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 blah. And, this pisses me off. Don't send it to anybody, for God's sakes, but get it out of your system. And then look at it and go, well, wait a minute. Now, why do I feel this way? Well, somebody said something about a something. Oh, well, that's why I feel all pissed off about this subject. Or what about this thing? Well, I'm pissed off about this or I'm depressed about this because I don't feel like I have any, one of the things that frustrates me is as much as I would like to change the world, it ain't gonna happen. So what can we do? Well, I can allow the world not to affect me. That's it. Well, these people did that over there. Well, okie dokie. Well, these people over here are doing that over there. What do you think about that? I think everybody's nuts, if you want my opinion. But, I ain't going to blame it on them, and I ain't going to blame it on them. Now, them folk over there who are starting fires and breaking windows need to go to jail. Sorry, that's breaking the law. They busted me for a couple of plants in my backyard. You broke a window and stole property. That's stealing and vandalism. Sorry, but that's against the law. Bye-bye. Not to be cruel. Well, they were demonstrating. Yeah, but they were also vandalizing. I'm sorry. Protesting isn't against the law, but vandalism is. Rioting is. You know what I'm saying? So let's protest. But nobody wants to protest. They're so mad. They want to get angry and they want to get violent. They want to break something. Then go home and break your own stuff. Or why not just sit down and say, wait a minute, why am I so pissed off? Well, I feel I'm right and these other people are wrong. That's your opinion. Just like buttholes, we all got them, right? So let's try to do the best thing. Now, so what's this got to do with our depression and the obsession of it? Because all of these things add up to our depression. All of these things add up to how we're feeling on a particular day, along with the cosmic juices that are coming out of the sky and the bumps in the Shaman residence. And we got a big CME heading towards us. So we'll be getting clobbered with some solar activity in the next day or so. But in the short term, long term, the long term is that we don't know what this is, how things are going to be. A year ago, none of us thought this was going to happen. Well, we'll get through this. The election's coming up, and when summertime comes, and I had all these plans of going canoeing and rafting and kayaking and all this. Can't go anywhere hardly anymore now. And so it's like, but there you go. Now it's too damn hot, But anyway, sitting here sweating my bananas off. But the obsession of, at some point, we feel comfortable with being depressed. Now you say, well, that's bullshit, Dave. But is it? I found myself in the regurgitation that somehow it was comforting to me that I could, I've had this, and I found solace in wallowing in the mud and wallowing in the depression. And you go, well, wait a minute. Well, there are people who like to be whipped for fun, And you say, but isn't that physical pain? Yeah, some people like that mess. Not me. But, to the point, so you say, well, but whatever floats your boat. But so for those of us, though, who may not understand it, that we say, well, wait a minute, this obsession of my depression. I'm obsessed with being depressed. Well, so stop it. Well, but I take medicine for it. And, you've heard me talk about the depression thing. Don't just quit your medicines, y'all. But I would thoroughly try to figure out a way, because you don't know whether or not your emotions are being caused, like me, were being caused by the side effects of the medications they had me on. Now it's time for me to go back to the doctor because I got some stomach issues and I think I'm having issues with my spleen. That's okay. I'm getting old, things are going to start wearing out in me, it's okay. But at the same time, I'm going to try to do the best I can to see tomorrow and to go walking with the dog. And I mowed the grass today with the weed eater. Like, it killed me, that 40 minutes I was out there doing that. But we love you, Bob. By the way, I see a little bit of hesitation going on. But anyway, but for you, though, none of us can make that assumption that, well, you're depressed and this is what's doing it. No, but you can be the one that says, I want to stop this train and get off. Well, but maybe the train ain't stopping. So then figure out a way to jump. Hey, maybe it's going to slow down at a school crossing. Jump. Meaning on a train. But the idea, though, that there's nothing we can do. Oh, boo-hoo, woe is me. This is what I'm saying to myself and what I have said in the past. So if you're doing hey, Scratch, how are you? If you're doing the, oh, woe is me, look, I spent years doing the woe is me. If you're doing the woe is me, oh, well, this is all because, why is God picking on me? Well, right now, you could say that God's picking on a bunch of folk, if you believe in that. But so how do we overcome this? First things first, you say, wait a minute. Something's going on here. The observer point of view. Am I allowing this to happen? Well, it feels so good to waller here in the mud, Well, I don't know how to get out of it. And you repeat it. It's like somebody says, well, how did you feel? Well, this really pissed me off the other day. And blah, 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 blah. And you go, whoa, that was a big glitch. And, so by going back through it, you relive it. And then you put emotion into it. And that keeps you engaged in whatever it is that's depressing you or holding you back or whatever. So, and I've talked about this before, and I'll reiterate, but that you have to look at it from the point of view is like, all this stuff happened. I had all these friends die and all this, blah, 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 all these shitty things happened in my, okay. But that was then and this is now. So do I want out of this, or do I want to continue on in this realm, in this vein of thought, And the answer is no. None of us want to stay in that modus operandi. I don't think any of us want to regurgitate this and live within our depression. But we must be able to look at ourselves and go, maybe I'm partially to blame for this. And you say, well, wait a minute. Because you allow it to happen. That's where the blame comes in. Not that you've done anything wrong, but that you haven't done anything right. And what is right about it is you stop it. You go, wait a minute. Oh, crap. Here I am repeating the same story that pissed me off a week ago. And I'm still pissed off about it a week later. So it's like, so what do we do? What do we do? We take a look at ourselves and go, wait a minute. Here I go again. Am I placing blame? Yes, because I'm allowing it to happen. Am I to blame? That's a separate situation. Or maybe you are to blame. Maybe I'm to blame for my own situation, for feeling the way I do and for feeling depressed and allowing it to happen. So yes, I am to blame because I'm allowing it to happen. But the circumstances aren't mine. The circumstances are of the world. The circumstances Or, I can't I can't get this. We used to do that and I can't do that. And I'm just getting to be old. Things are breaking and wearing down. But at the same point, I know that I got to get up. 3 days ago, a week ago, I was like, I ain't mowing the damn grass. I don't feel like it. Today, I got out there when it cooled down and mowed some grass. I'm sore. That's okay. But the thing is so that 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, but if you continue to allow because I made up my mind several days ago, I'm getting out of this crap. But it's our choice. But if you say, well, it's not my fault, I'm depressed, all these other things, yeah, it is. If you're saying it ain't your fault, it is, because you're still allowing it to happen. You're looking at it and you're still going, oh, woe is me. It's somebody else's fault, not mine. Well, but, and it is all in your head. Now, are there circumstances that make you feel that way? Oh, you damn right. But can we be strong and true of heart and go, but wait a minute now, hang on. Do I have to accept this? No. Do all these people bitching and moaning about this, that, and the other thing, and the race war and the this and the that and the blah, blah, blah. No. Do I, somebody says, well, I hate you. When I did the video about Robert E. Lee and the statue and all that. Oh, by the way, some folks down here in the South, there was rumors that there were going to be some certain factions of another color that wanted to pull down one of the Confederate memorials around here down on the square in Moultrie. And there were people with ladies with shotguns and people with AR-15s and patrolling to say, oh, no, you're not. If you think you're going to come over and knock down our Civil War memorials, remember, whatever, if you think you're going to have anything to do with it, nope. And I was like, what? Yeah, here in Moultrie, Georgia, right? Wow. The Colquitt Patriots for Colquitt County or Colquitt County Patriots or something like that. And it's like, well, good for them. But not so much, they didn't want to start a fight, but they wanted to prevent anybody from doing any damage. And so they were armed. Okie dokie. Nothing really transpired, but to the point though, so even in my own neighborhood down here, 15 miles away up the road there, folks are being a little on the edgy side. And I think to myself, don't these people have something better to do? But they are so wrapped up in this. Listen, this is our heritage, and somebody that ain't from Georgia or ain't lived down here in the South don't get it. And why are all them folks up in Ohio got stars and bars in there? They're north of the Mason-Dixon line. What the hell's going on? But the long and the short of it is that do we want it to continue? Do I want to continue being pissed off at them folk for doing that? I'm still kind of pissed off at the folk who beat me up and threw me in the mental hospital, but I had to get rid of that nonsense too. And once in a while, there are things happen to friends or neighbors, or I hear of a story of mistreatment in the system, and I go, listen, I really do know how you feel. My shoulder was dislocated, by a deputy sheriff who threw me in the back of the police car when I would have gladly gotten in by myself. And then other people go, yes, but you were violent at the hospital. At 4 a.m, they dropped me off in front of a building with nobody there but one black man, who was very nice, I might add, and unhandcuffed me. So in a 5-minute ride from the hospital to the hospital, how did I suddenly become nonviolent? Well, no, the policeman had to show the people at the hospital that he was, you got it. And so, but when then he got to the other place, he just opened up the back door and said, come on, get out. In 5 minutes, right? So do I know what it's like to be mistreated and beat up? Yes. But it ain't just black folk. it there are Mexicans who are being mistreated. There are folks from different nationalities who are being mistreated, let alone skin color. Okay, so but we got to get over this. We got to quit being pissed off about it, and we need to stop regurgitating, which keeps us as in a depressed mode. You can have an opinion, but how emotional should you get? Should you put up your dukes and say, "Well, I'm going to fight you dumb idiot," because even though of all the things that I consider certain black folk that I've known over the years better friends than my own family. So don't tell me. But if you look at me from the outside, you go, there's this old white man, and he talks about this stuff. And I was doing integration back before it was even popular back in the 60s. We had a couple of black gentlemen that worked on the carnival. And, we treated each other equally. Some of the best times I had was going to the old black juke joints and in the little neighborhoods that we'd go to. And Oscar, they were brothers, a year or two apart, but Oscar was one of them. I can't remember the other brother's name. But anyway, Oscar ran the Octopus. And Oscar, man, we'd go into town and get drunk on Boone's Farm, Strawberry Hill 1. And oh my God, go to the old juke joints and put up a couple of dollars. Go in there and shoot pool in an old pool table in an old ramshackle dun-soaked monstrosity in the back of somebody's house that used to be a garage or something. I lived them days. I went in there and shot pool with these folks. Who's this little white kid back here in the back? Well, nothing, mister. I just come in here to shoot some pool and to hang out. If it's all right with you. Well, they was all about making money and whatever. So, but the idea, though, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that I've not lived this and somehow I'm a racist. Let me get this out right. I'm a racist against stupidity. If you're a stupid ignoramus, then I'm maybe not on your side. If you're going to continue to spout this nonsense, then maybe I'm not on your side. But I'm not against any color. And I'm not a racist, but I am against this nonsense. But they're going to call me a racist. Okay, fine. What's that got to do with this? It's because we're all being pressured by it from all these different sides. Bottom line, we're feeling pressure that we didn't feel before. And it ain't even ours, okay? My friend Martha the other night, we were chatting on the phone, and she goes, I was just so depressed, and I don't know where it was coming from. But she had a friend up north who was sick, and she goes, it might have been that. But, there are times when someone, I got relatives who are sick and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so you don't know where some of this energy is coming from. And sometimes it takes a little while for it to kind of like weed itself out. But in general, though, there's so much other stuff going on. And so many people trying to keep up with the 19 stuff and the this thing and the that thing and the blah, blah, blah. That how can you have a clear thought? All of these traumas are being forced upon us, whether we like them or not. We're having these forced injections of insanity. And we're expected in some way, shape, or form to react, interact, or otherwise make a decision of which side we're on. Doesn't seem to matter to a lot of people what side we are on, because they make their own determination for you. Well, he said something. I said the word nigger earlier on in this video. Oh, he said the N-word. Oh, please get over it. I didn't call anybody anything. I used a word that was used back in the day, but to the point. Dave's talking off his ass. He's against. Oh man. Oh, please stop it. Will you get a grip, please? Somebody made a statement back when I did the Robert E. Lee thing. Well, just because you may be, related to Robert E. Lee, that gives you the right. Well, I studied R.E. Lee, and the man was a surveyor. He did lots of things that had nothing to do with slavery. And somebody said, what about states' rights? Well, the folks in California and Colorado are very much for states' rights, because they can buy weed over the counter and we can't. So you say, well, states' rights. Well, what about the United States? Well, R.E. Lee was all about the states' rights. And a bunch of the states got together and said, we don't want to be a part of the North. We don't want to be a part of this anymore. So now they're talking about that anything that was done during the Confederacy was tyranny. You know, it was tyranny, right? There's another word I can't. But anyway, no, ladies and gentlemen, they seceded from the United States and became the Southern States of America. Okay, they were their own country. And it wasn't until after the war that they became part back into the United States. So to say that, treason, that Robert E. Lee, and they tried to hang him for treason. They took away his property. They took it away his land. They wouldn't give him any remuneration for the property that they seized after the war. Now, wouldn't give it back to him because they were pissed at R.E. Lee for not working for the North. So, but he couldn't be hung for treason because he didn't do a treasonous act. So all these folks that want to talk about how the South said become our own, and they did. And so if you're your own country, how can you be hung for treason if you have states' rights? What's that about? Well, Texas has been wanting to become its own country. So is California. So wait a minute now, but those people, they're all treasonous bastards, aren't they? Well, you want to say that? What about states' rights? So, but here's my point about this, and a little bit of history lesson. But people want to yap on about certain things, and they ain't got a clue what's going on. They haven't read it. They haven't lived it. They haven't tried to understand it. They read something online that somebody wrote instead of going to the damn library and getting a book that's 100 years old, that was printed back then. And so you might read the truth before somebody else obfuscated it over the years, so that you say, well, hang on here just a second. Wait a minute. Let me do my own research. Not just online, but let me go to a library. Let me go check out some books about these people and about what they did and how they thought. Not somebody's opinion, but what they wrote, some of their papers, not somebody else's telling of the story. So now we're going through the same situation again. Now I'm bringing that up because if I look at these current situations and I go, there's a lot of people trying to make stuff up. There's a lot of people trying to make it worse than it is. Is it bad? Yeah. But you know what? Around here, I went to the store yesterday, being the dog, and I only saw one person with a mask. Now, is that good or bad? Well, folks around here, they're not going right up and hugging each other or nothing. They're keeping a 2 or 3 foot distance rather than just, getting real close in line. But nobody's panicked if there's a second run now. And Albany, Georgia's got some more. They've had another influx of C-19 folks. But there are a lot of folks that travel in and out of Albany. And I'm not against the black communities, but Albany's like 50 or 60% black. Statistically, so. But there's a lot of traffic between Atlanta and folks in Alabama to places in Albany. And these are family members, and they come, and they're cousins and uncles, and they're a sociable group. So they have a tendency maybe to pass this around more than white folk do. But that's not to be said that it's targeted against the blacks, okay, mind you. But anyway, but so it's still around here. It hasn't gone away. But folks are realizing, I can just keep my distance a little bit and not cough into my hand and spread it all over the store. I can do certain things without having to wear a mask. Now, there are still people with masks, but in the smaller towns here and around, folks are just going about their normal business. And they're conversing again. And so it's like, trying to read, and I don't know where my glasses are. I got two broke hairs. Anyway, um, so what do we do about this? What's our next step? The first step should just be, let's look at this and see where I fit in this picture. And I don't really fit in the picture. I'm off on the outskirts. Now I got friends of mine who sit with the and who have to go in and work with other folks. My brother in Ohio, he works with mentally handicapped folks, and he's like uh, he's like he's like a camp counselor. Okay, he stays with them over the night, and so he goes in at nighttime and stays with them until in the morning, until the morning crew comes in. But anyway, so these folks have to be in touch with other groups where I can choose my social network, if you will, and where to go to town or blah blah blah, or if I'm going to go to this or that. But to that point though, we can make a choice. The folks who are working in the healthcare business, they know they need to be careful. My good buddy Big John, I talked to him about a week or so ago. God bless him, I miss him, and I keep praying for Big John, because if it hadn't been for him, I'd be dead right now a few years back. But everybody's being careful as much as we can, but folks around here are being a little pragmatic about it. So that's what my thing about this. What do we do? Be a little pragmatic about what's going on, please. In other words, something is going to piss you off right away. You want to scream and holler and jump up and down. Well, okay, but keep it minimum. Get it out of your system, but then drop it. Move on, because to continue on with it is to continue with the anger, to continue with the this, and it's going to continue making everybody feel like crap, especially yourself. So if you look at the situation and go, well, I can't really do anything about this, but you know what? I can do something. I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to keep an eye on them folk over there. I'm going to keep an eye on this situation over here. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. But, keep your emotions in check, because going off half-cocked anytime and all the time, well, there you go. So we just have to do the best we can. So what can we do? Keep up the positive thoughts. What can we do tomorrow? Look at the situation and be careful that we don't overreact, that we don't get our panties in a bunch. You know what I'm saying? So we do what we can, and we do the best that we can. Now, that's the ticket. And, I'm old and crotchety at times, and I, spend 3 days sleeping, and I wake up and I have no idea what just went on and where I've been. And I go, well, my first inclination is to get pissed off and to get all, well, I've been asleep for what did I miss yet? And got to stop that mess. Got to stop it and go, okay, now where am I at this moment? Let me look around and go, okay, how do I take care of it? Well, it rained yesterday. Okay, it rained the day before. Okay, and so I couldn't do this outside and I couldn't do that outside, but I could do things inside. So I'm cleaning the kitchen, I'm rearranging, I'm trying to get stuff out of here that I should have got out of here years ago. And so I do inside work. It's too hot to go outside. So we choose something. We choose something to get our minds off of the depression. Well, it's raining outside. I really wanted to do that today. Well, okay, so let me change focus. Rather than be pissed off about the rain, which we need, and thank you, Sky, for the rain. But rather than be pissed off about the rain, well, what can I do? So I did this. We can change our opinion. We can change our modus operandi. We can change how we look at the situation. Can we change it? Yes. How? By not overreacting. Now, if it's a really good thing, clap your hands and let's go dancing. But if it's something that's on the edge and the verge of being like nonsensically crazy and kind of let's just say, that's one of them situations. Maybe I should just keep an eye on. So spread the love, my friends. I thank you so much. I know I haven't been on, just things have been going on around here that needed took care of. That's all there is to that. And, it's time to go to the river, especially with the water up. But, I had to pay a fine, $67 for not having a PFD. $67. Maybe, and it's the first time in years I haven't worn a PFD. So, um, but so with that said, we will worry about it tomorrow, my friends. I'm always, whether I'm on here or not, sending prayers to you folk. And we all need it, you know, me less than many other people. And I thank you for your positive thoughts and your prayers. I do. But there are a lot of other folks out there that need more prayers than I do. But one of the things that we all need reminded once in a while, myself included, that we can allow ourselves to become consumed by things that we really don't have any control over, except whether or not we wish to participate or not, and whether or not we wish to be argumentative or not, whether or not we wish to allow ourselves to be depressed all the time. Make the choice to say no. So, my friends, until next time, I say I love you all. I do. Be careful, be kind, be sweet. And as always, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom of the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and future, will learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. And as the law of three goes, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the knowledge, the wisdom, and the knowledge from the universe, and that you will continue to share it as much as you can. So until next time, my friends, keep it between the ditches. This is Hawkeye Two Feathers in South Georgia saying, Ween. Thank you, Bob. We had a few glitches. Have some coffee, and we'll say adios until next time. So for me and the dog and the cats, we say, have a good one. TTFN from South Georgia. Adios for now. Bye.